What's up guys, my name is Ace, and just recently I went back and played a little bit of Modern Warfare 3 on stream. It was the first time I touched it since the launch of Black Ops 6. And today I just wanted to share some of the things I noticed, some of my impressions while I was playing, primarily comparing Modern Warfare 3 to Black Ops 6, because I truly feel Modern Warfare 3 was the better game. And this isn't just the typical Call of Duty cycle where current game bad, previous game better. I said throughout the entire life cycle of Modern Warfare 3 that I really enjoyed that multiplayer experience, and I still consider it to be the best multiplayer Call of Duty experience we've had in the modern era, so from Modern Warfare 2019 on. Now in saying that, there were also a good handful of things that I noticed that I actually prefer about Black Ops 6 over Modern Warfare 3, and I'll be sure to be covering those as well. But let's start this off with some of the things I noticed that I prefer in Modern Warfare 3. And the first thing I noticed right away when I hopped in and I was trying to pick out which class setup I wanted to use is just the insane and arguably overkill amount of weapon variety with extremely unique attributes in Modern Warfare 3. There are so many different unique ways to change up your gameplay experience by selecting a different gun or aftermarket part that performs nothing at all like anything else in the game. And I found that to be really exciting and something that's been missing from Black Ops 6. With Black Ops 6, sure, the weapon balance is actually pretty decent in my eyes. I can use a wide variety of weapons, but at the end of the day, almost every weapon is just a full auto gun with slightly different stats than the other full auto gun in the game, maybe different rate of fire and recoil and damage profile, but they all tend to balance out with each other. And there's just not much there in Black Ops 6 that is very unique and really stands out as something that's totally unlike any other weapon in the game. Additionally, when I was creating my loadouts for Modern Warfare 3 when I hopped in, I was reminded at just how much you can do to your weapon as well. So even once you've selected your weapon, there's a lot of different things you can do with that weapon and a lot of directions that you can take your build. You can go all in on hipfire, for instance, and have an insanely good hipfire build that's lacking in other areas. Or you could go all in on movement speed or accuracy. There's a bunch of different ways that you can build your guns, and you can really lean into the extremes with them while having some key trade-offs for that power. And that's an area in Black Ops 6 where there isn't nearly as much attachment variety to do interesting things with the weapons that we've got. Most of my builds in Black Ops 6 are just going to be using pretty much the same attachments because those are quite simply the most viable attachments for that gun, and you can't really lean super heavy into like a hipfire build, for instance. In Black Ops 6, for most of the guns in the game, there's literally one attachment slot that can have an impact on your hipfire spread. So it's not like you can really create very many insane hipfire builds in Black Ops 6, whereas in Modern Warfare 3, you can do that with many of the guns in the game. Now, in saying that, there is a downside to the complexity of Modern Warfare 3's system, but we'll talk about that a little bit when we're talking about some things that I prefer about Black Ops 6. Next, once I saw that map voting screen pop up, I was reminded at how much I tend to like the maps in Modern Warfare 3 as well. Overall, I think the map pool in Modern Warfare 3 is a much better map pool than what we have in Black Ops 6. Not only do we have more maps to play with, but the quality of those maps as well tend to be better than the maps in Black Ops 6, in my opinion at least. This is a highly subjective area. But there are actually several maps in Modern Warfare 3 that I was really excited to vote for and really excited to play on. And in Black Ops 6, I don't necessarily get excited to see maps. I just have some preferences where I'd rather play some maps over others. Now, one little thing I touched on as well is tac stance. The fact that in Modern Warfare 3 you don't need to use an attachment to gain the power of tac stance, I think is great. With any gun at any time, you can just swap over to tac stance, and I find it to be a really fun and refreshing way to play the game. It's not necessarily overpowered or anything. It's got some upsides attached to it, as well as some clear downsides. And once again, getting back to the attachment varieties, you could lean really heavily into creating some amazing tac stance builds in Modern Warfare 3, whereas in Black Ops 6, you have to use a tactical laser just to gain the ability to use tac stance, and then after that, there's no way of improving your tac stance from there with most of the guns in the game. You can with shotguns, but I don't believe you can with any other gun in the game, and as a result, you can't really make like really good tac stance builds in Black Ops 6. It went from being a feature that I felt was really balanced and fun and added a nice layer to the gameplay if you decided to use it with Modern Warfare 3 to essentially being a near useless gimmick in Black Ops 6. After that, let's talk about streaks a little bit. I found in Modern Warfare 3 the streaks are a lot easier to earn, even though I wasn't really on my A game, so it's not like I was putting up streaks like crazy. I was still pretty rusty with the game, but even with that in mind, the streaks were a lot easier to earn, and also there's the ability to loop your streaks in Modern Warfare 3, which you can't do in Black Ops 6. Another thing I noticed is movement-wise in Modern Warfare 3, I felt a lot of the movement was a lot snappier and more responsive than what we experienced in Black Ops 6. And don't get me wrong, I generally do like on-move movement in Black Ops 6. I find it to be quite responsive, but it's not as responsive as what I was experiencing in Modern Warfare 3. And I also preferred how they handled the slide in Modern Warfare 3. Sliding is a great aggressive tool that you can use in that game, but it's not something where everybody's sliding all over the map like crazy all the time. It's just something that you use in the right moment and try to get your timing right in order to get that edge over the enemy that you're challenging. Whereas in Black Ops 6, it seems like sliding is just the best way to be moving around the map all the time. And in my eyes, that's just not ideal However, this is where we're going to get into some of the things I prefer about Black Ops 6 over Modern Warfare 3. And one thing I noticed is I was missing Omni movement a little bit. The ability to sprint side to side, even the ability to slide sideways. I was missing that a bit, and it did take a little while to get used to. It only took a few games before I got a good feel with Modern Warfare 3 again, but I did often find myself trying to sprint sideways, for instance, and then just losing all of my momentum. So really, there's pros and cons there. I feel like there's a nice middle ground, and I did recently just make a video on this as well with Omni movement. I feel like there's a nice middle ground to be found between Modern Warfare 3's movement and Black Ops 6's Omni movement. Next up, something I obviously didn't really interact with my short stream that I did with Modern Warfare 3, but I still wanted to mention that I really prefer in Black Ops 6. This is the Prestige system in Black Ops 6. I absolutely love that traditional Prestige system. I've really enjoyed my time grinding through there and actually having gameplay implications to leveling up your character and going through the Prestiges, unlike in Modern Warfare 3 where it was basically just a number that ticked up next to your name. Another thing I noticed that I was really surprised to see actually is my gunfights in Modern Warfare 3, it felt like the time to kill was quite a bit slower than Black Ops 6, which is interesting because statistically it is a little bit slower than Black Ops 6, but not by a huge margin. However, then I remembered something that Black Ops 6 changed back to is consistent damage profiles for most guns throughout your entire body. So you're not dealing less damage to the foot than you are to the upper torso. And this just leads to a lot more time to kill consistency in Black Ops 6. And I noticed that inconsistency with Modern Warfare 3, where sometimes it was just taking that extra bullet to kill and I wasn't ready for that extra bullet to be needed because I got so used to just shooting enemies anywhere in the body. And honestly, I kind of prefer the consistency of Black Ops 6 when it comes to that time to kill. I know you can do some more interesting things balance-wise when you introduce body multipliers, but as far as consistency goes, I actually prefer Black Ops 6 in that area. Another thing I said I'd return back to here is the customization, like the gunsmith system in Black Ops 6. While I found it really refreshing that you could go in so many different directions and really balance toward the extremes when creating your weapon loadouts in Modern Warfare 3, at the same time, it's quite an overwhelming experience. There are so many totally unnecessary attachments mixed in there. Too many to choose from in most cases. A lot of the times there's a lot of redundancies there as well, where there's two attachments that do basically the same thing. There's a few milliseconds of differences in how they affect your gun, for instance. And I do think that was way overboard in Modern Warfare 3, so part of me prefers the simplicity of Black Ops 6. But again, I think this is one of those areas where a middle ground would be nice to see. So it's not quite as complex and overwhelming as Modern Warfare 3, but not as simple and arguably boring or as restrictive as Black Ops 6. Another thing I noticed that I kind of forgot about with Modern Warfare 3 that I wasn't a big fan of is how often you run into tiny maps when playing regular core game modes. If I'm searching for just domination in the quick play filters, it was honestly quite frustrating how often I was seeing maps like Stash House pop up compared to what we've got in Black Ops 6, which is the battle maps versus the strike maps and the face-off playlist where it's 6v6 on tiny maps, and those really tiny maps aren't in regular rotation if you're just playing normal quick play modes. Additionally, with Face-Off in Black Ops 6, I really like that there's no streaks involved with that. I think when you're on tiny, really chaotic maps, there's enough chaos already. You don't need streaks looped in on top of that, and it really should be all about just winning your gunfights. So when it comes to playing those tiny maps, I think Black Ops 6 handled this much better than Modern Warfare 3. Even though Modern Warfare 3 had a nice dedicated small map mosh pit, I think Face-Off and having that clear separation is better. Additionally, going back to Modern Warfare 3, I was reminded at how much I'm not a fan of their UI with a lot of horizontal scrolling. Black Ops 6 made some really nice improvements overall to the UI. I wouldn't say it's the best UI ever or totally flawless, but absolutely a step forward from Modern Warfare 3. And then one final note here that popped into my head as I was making this video. Even though when I went back to play Modern Warfare 3, I didn't touch zombies at all, it did remind me of what zombies was like. And while I did kind of enjoy Modern Warfare Zombies for just completing weekly challenges or leveling up a gun that I really didn't want to level up in multiplayer, I think overall the zombies experience in Black Ops 6 is just far superior because it's really its own thing that you can put tons and tons of time into. Whereas with Modern Warfare Zombies, I felt like it just wasn't enough to play as like a dedicated mode. If you're a zombies player, there's just not really enough there to keep you really engaged in playing day in, day out with Modern Warfare Zombies compared to Black Ops 6 Zombies. And there we go. Those are just a handful of the primary things that I noticed when going back to Modern Warfare 3 immediately after playing Black Ops 6. While there's definitely a good handful of elements that I think Black Ops 6 does better, and I think they made some really nice steps forward, at the end of the day, going back and playing Modern Warfare 3 was really refreshing, and it made me want to play more. So I'm likely going to be streaming that a little bit here and there, mixed in with Black Ops 6 and Warzone, of course. I am splitting things up a lot more on stream than I normally would, but that's largely just due to the fact that there's really not a whole lot going on with Black Ops 6 on a consistent basis, which I guess leads me to the one last point. One thing that I feel Modern Warfare 3 absolutely killed it at last year, and I bring this up pretty often, but it is very praiseworthy in my eyes. This was their post-launch support, and the fact that we just constantly had new weapon mods and aftermarket parts coming on a weekly basis. There was always something new and unique and exciting to look forward to week after week after week, and I just don't get that feeling at all with Black Ops 6. But there we go. That is going to wrap it up for today's video, and this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How do you feel about Modern Warfare 3 in 2025 compared to Black Ops 6? And what areas do you think Black Ops 6 did better or worse than Modern Warfare 3? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.